Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Our Moment in Time Student Achievement Awards. I am going to talk a little bit about an Indigenous acknowledgement and celebrating the land that we're on right now, the land that surrounds us. It's part of who we are and it reflects our histories. I am a settler and uninvited guest on this land. Reconciliation is a deeply personal journey, and I encourage you to learn more about the 94 calls to justice in the report of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The indignity, injustices, and discrimination that Indigenous people continue to face endures and weakens the fabric of our entire society. Colonization, assimilationist policies, and the scars inflicted by residential schools have damaged cultures and kinships and have resulted in distressing gaps in health outcomes and living conditions between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. OSSTF FEESO is an educational organization which represents teacher and education worker members. Our central office is in the community of Scarborough and Toronto, but we have 35 district offices across Ontario. So please feel free to acknowledge the traditional land that you're participating from today and give thought to the generations of people who were stewards of that land. Today, I'm speaking to you from Guelph, which is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Inuit, Métis, and mixed ancestry people. Today, I recognize the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation of the Anishinaabe people. The dish with one spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nation and people, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. And on the traditional territory I'm speaking to you from today, it is my wish that we can carry the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect into this gathering today. I thank generations of people who were stewards of this land for thousands of years before my family settled here. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Karen Littlewood, President of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation. Originally from Barrie, Karen started her career as an elementary teacher in York Region before moving back to Simcoe County in the year 2000. In 2007, Karen became a secondary teacher for Simcoe County District School Board, where she taught life skills and special education. Karen became the president of both the district and the teacher bargaining unit for District 17 Simcoe and held a number of roles both locally and provincially. And she was elected to our provincial executive in 2017. As only the 11th female president of OSSTF FEESO in its history, Karen recognizes the important role she's taking on and seeks to be a strong role model for women and for students and others in the organization. And we thank her so much for coming today and introducing and celebrating our Student Achievement Award winners. So I'll turn it over to Karen. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy, and thanks to everybody for being here. It's such a special event, and while we'd rather do this in person, I think it's incredible that we get to celebrate these amazing students. Every year, the Student Achievement Awards in honor of Marion Drysdale receive a wide range of inspirational and creative submissions. It was clear from the submissions received for the awards this time that we are presenting here today that this year's theme, Our Moment in Time, fully captured the students' imaginations and inspired some very amazing work. The Student Achievement Awards, of course, they're prestigious for the students who win, but they also have become an important tradition for our federation. All of the submissions reflect the creative talents of our students, and these works of art and writing are also a tangible affirmation of the impact of our members' daily efforts, teaching, encouraging, and guiding those students in their exploration and the expression of their creativity. The creative process shown in all of the submissions demonstrates the importance of the arts in developing identity and in helping students understand their world. Indisputably, the credit for the body of work featured here today goes to the students who created it. Each one of these works is a source of pride for all of us, particularly the teachers and education workers who supported these students to explore their creativity. Before we congratulate the provincial winners, let's learn more about each one of them by viewing a video.
Here we go. Okay, art, to me, it's not just something I do when I'm bored. For me, art is a way for me to express how I'm feeling. If I didn't have art, I don't know if I would even be here, because art is like half of me. It's like part of my soul. For my painting, I chose the name Prism because white light enters a prism and exits all different colors. That was kind of the idea behind my painting, where before COVID, our society looked a certain way, and then after COVID, it went through different branches and our society changed, but not in a negative way, in a positive way. Throughout COVID, social media likes to show only bad sides of our society, and we are better than that. There is positive sides and there are positive changes that we make.
So Caitlin moved to the school in the 12th grade, and she came into class as a force to be reckoned with.
About me, I can be very committed to something once I find an interest in it. So for example, I'm learning Korean right now because I'm really interested in learning languages. I love science, so I'm going to university for different sciences. I'm also a very good people person. I'm also sometimes known as the therapist friend because I'm good with connecting with other people. My grandmother, my inspiration for, I guess, my entire artistic career. I don't know where I would be artistically without her. She's like my favorite person in the entire world because I also really like science too. And so ever since I was young, she would be able to combine art and science and put it together. And I was never bored.
As a teacher, I don't need straight A's. I just need somebody to come in and approach things with optimism and positivity and passion. And that's what Caitlin needs to continue to do. And I know she will. I know she will.
I've heard all my life people telling me that I'm good at art and I'm good at what I do. But in my head, I'm thinking they're just saying that because they're nice. But then actually having my art being professionally criticized and judged and then winning, it makes me feel like even if I don't do the best, I can still be proud of myself and I can still be successful. I think the picture would have to have a silly face and maybe some paint on my face or my arms. And I want to have something that represents that I am an artist. And whenever I paint, there is paint on my arms, my face, and sometimes my forehead, and I don't know why. So I think I'd want that to be in the picture.
My piece is called Apathy Apocalypse. It is an animated short documentary about the psychological reasons behind inaction on climate change.
Climate change's wicked nature might make climate change communication seem hopeless, but we can overcome it.
The challenges with this project included the big, huge concepts he was trying to get across and how he could create that and make that understandable and relatable.
Animal rights.
You can't try and talk to someone who denies climate change. You need to tackle things from their perspective. What does this person care about that climate change might affect? And I think that's the key takeaway. Being alone so much during lockdown, it sort of helped me supercharge almost that introverted part of myself. I had a lot of time to reflect and think about what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more of a creative person. By the time I'm done an art piece or a video project like this, I feel like I've really created something, and that's not a feeling I get when I do a math problem or a chemistry problem. Whenever I get any question about who inspires me the most in my life, I'd have to say it's my parents. They began as very poor peasants in China. They studied really hard. They got top scores in their entrance exams to universities and full ride scholarships. And it's only because of those that they were able to move to Canada. They did what they could with what they had. And that's always been something that really inspired me.
I hope Calvin continues to explore his thoughts and his voice and finds ways to express it. He has immense talent.
A lot of people, they have the mindset that since I'm just a regular person, I'm not a politician, I'm not Greta Thunberg, can't really make a difference in the world. And as David Suzuki once said, I think every person is just a drop in the bucket when it comes to climate change, but with enough people, we can fill any bucket of any size. Being locked down, being by myself, and going through all these hardships with the rest of the world, they've really helped me understand just how many things are wrong with the world, but also a little bit of how many things are going right.
It's that time.
My story is called Strands of Memories. It's about this little hair salon in a strip mall. And the story kind of talks about all the different, interesting variety of people who come to this hair salon to get their hair cut, and how getting your hair cut is kind of like letting go of the past and moving on a bit. Many people pay no attention to the quiet hair salon. Little do people know that hair can hold memories. Memories of your past, of things you've done, and places you've been. With each strand cut, a memory is lost. But with new hair, new experiences will grow.
She's taken an ordinary, mundane activity like a haircut and transformed it into something almost magical, restorative, and something that will retain memory for a period of time.
When I look at different characters, I don't know, I just see different perspectives of the world that I wouldn't usually consider in my own life. I started horseback riding in September. I have a really nice horse named Excel, well, the one I ride. It's fun, it's kind of freeing riding around outside, and we just recently started doing jumps, which is really fun. I have been in a choir. We do a lot of different types of music. Sometimes we even learn like different languages to be able to do the pieces, which I think is really interesting. My family goes backcountry canoe camping, and we kind of disconnect. There's no Wi-Fi, no internet, and you're just fully immersed in nature. I just love being out there, it's so peaceful.
Students have so much to say, and they don't always know where to put those emotions or those ideas, but Alden has certainly found a place to channel some really awesome high-level thinking into this piece of writing.
This piece makes me feel hopeful, that I can experience new things, and that the future is ever changing, but even though I can change and different things can happen to me, I'm still myself. And even as new things happen, doesn't make things from the past disappear. I'm really different than before COVID. I was in elementary school when COVID started, and now I'm in 10th grade, so I feel like I've really changed a lot. I'm at a new school, I have a whole new friend group. I think I'm slightly more outgoing than I was before.
It's that time.
I am James Gardner. I am in grade 10 and I go to Pelee Island Public School. Our school is very, very small. There are 4 kids in our high school class, including me. During the winter, we need to use a plane to get to and from the island and the mainland. My writing piece, it's supposed to represent how a photograph can capture a moment in time. I'm in the car on the way home. My dad is driving. It's raining very hard. It's also dark outside. This is going to make a good photo, I think to myself. Luckily, I have my phone, so I take a snap. I'm looking at the image and wondering, maybe this is what a time machine is. I took this photo a few seconds ago, yet I can still see that moment in time, even though that moment has passed.
To me, he seems much older than his years. He's very insightful.
Our YouTube channel is called Gluten Free Studios. Me and my friend, actually, we make videos on the channel. He's a really skilled animator and I'm like the writer. So we kind of use our two talents and try to make something creative out of it. I don't like to be taught how to be creative. That's like why when I play piano, I don't read notes. It's just, I don't know, I guess it's just kind of restricting to me, but I play by ear. I just feel like originality just comes from yourself. Like you can't really learn it from others, but I could be wrong.
This win for James, I think it's going to start him on a pathway to success. I do think he's shown that he's got the interest, the perseverance, the skill to achieve his dream.
I do actually wish to become an author. My favorite author, Gordon Corman, his first book he ever published was when he was 14 in the 70s sometime, but like I'm 15, so yeah, I know it's possible for me to do it. This moment in time would be very important to me. I've never won anything. I've never had like interviews or anything like this. It's all new to me. To capture it in a selfie would be very important so I can remember it no matter how old I get.
Learning online was very restricting and limited. I used to get together with a lot of family and friends, and then when lockdown came around, I was in the house a lot and just more or less in my room, not really talking to anyone because of all the things I had to do online. Life just got a lot more boring in general. I didn't really look forward to anything. It was very repetitive. The name of my art piece is Our Moment in Time. It's a school project that was assigned to me by my art teacher. We had to incorporate something in a jar and then its surroundings. So I wanted to do something that was related to online school and what it felt like.
She seemed to take it on a broader sense where it affected not only herself, but her classmates, her friends, her teachers. She saw how it affected the larger community.
Inside the jar is someone standing in front of the computer, and the colors are all blue and miserable looking. And then the surroundings are brighter to contrast with that jar. I also incorporated morphed clocks to symbolize like how time flew or slowed down.
Amelie is a very technical artist. She wants things to look perfect. And with this piece, it seemed like she let go and she allowed herself to really be creative and try new things.
Watercolor was something that I never started. This assignment was one of my first full watercolor pieces. I would definitely describe myself as goal-oriented. I set a lot of high standards and goals for myself. I put a lot of hard work in things like my assignments, my tasks, so then I reached these standards. I've never won an art award this big before. I definitely felt happy, but I was half awake. My emotions weren't really amplified until a bit later when it finally hit me that I won this award. I was overjoyed, super excited, telling my friends, family all about it. It was really great. In this moment of time, it definitely shows how much more comfortable I've become with myself. I finally started to dress how I wanted to dress, look how I wanted to look. Before COVID, I was definitely intimidated and I didn't really pursue what I wanted myself to be.
So Billy, you wrote an amazing poem called A Social Distancing Poem.
My poem is about COVID and social distancing and wearing a mask. Our moment in time. There's a tree to climb. I cannot go to school, you say, so what is going to become my day? Perhaps in public, we wear a mask. Most of the time, we don't have to ask. During these times, I'm extra kind. It helps clear my mind.
He's a kind, caring, compassionate, hardworking student. He is the leader of our classroom, as you can tell. Why do you like to write?
I like to write about comedy, novels, and I journal at home about what I did at school when I get home.
It's kind of like a reflection of the day, isn't it?
Yes.
And we talked earlier that we find writing quite calming. Do you want to share with everyone your novel? The front page, yes. So what's it called, Billy?
A boy called Trip.
And do you want to share the side of it to show everyone how big it is? And we're in chapter 3 right now, I believe. Billy, how many chapters are there?
24. When I do announcements, I do the national days. I research on what kind of national days there are in mind, even in months.
He does them every day. And throughout the day, people, staff, students will congratulate him for all of his cool national days he does every day. There's some pretty wicked ones. How would you describe yourself?
I am kind, I've been using good manners, I am helpful and polite, and I am smart.
You sure are. I came into this position in November. You have been an outstanding, phenomenal, hardworking leader in our classroom. And those traits are spot on. And you're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I asked him before if he's ever won an award, and he said no. So it's huge. And doing something that he loves too, I find, writing. This is going to open up so many opportunities. He's just a wonderful writer and human.
If I were to take a selfie, I would be with my mom because she is special.
My poem is called Inévitabilité, and it is about the different phases or emotions that one might go through during a crisis such as COVID-19 or anything else that really brings a lot of change upon you. With COVID, everything just was completely different than I expected. I also switched schools from French to English, and writing this was a good way to put everything that I felt into words. Sérénité subtile. Chaque seconde qui passe disloque mes racines. J'approche à grands pas, implacablement, l'abîme. Pourtant mon essence ne cesse pas de lutter. Je dois être forte, je dois continuer.
To be able to express ideas, use rhyme, find beautiful adjectives, and all those sentences that just flow in such an amazing way, I was astonished.
I know a lot of people have something like music or cooking or a specific hobby that helps them be themselves, and for me that's writing. Just like in the poem, I feel like the emotions were very different depending on the time. It was a very scary time, pretty anxiety-inducing. But I guess after all this time, you'd become a lot more comfortable, or at least hopeful for the future. I view things a lot more realistically now than before. I had all these ideas about what I would do that were all so incredible and also impossible and very unlikely. But now I see things a lot more realistically. I have a good idea of myself and what I can do and what I can't do.
I think that she has a gift, that she knows how to put thoughts in words, and that these words can have great impact on the readers.
The most important takeaway for the reader is that there will be difficult times ahead, but also in the end, it's very likely to be hopeful. I use the word fleurissant in that poem, which is blooming. I could use some sort of blooming flower to represent the end of my poem, where the narrator becomes more hopeful for the future.
I've been playing hockey for as long as I can remember. What I really like about hockey is just how quickly everything happens. The poem itself was kind of about the singular moment in time, so it's all frozen. Breathe in, take a look. Newborn babies, mouths agape, eyes closed tight, held by loving, fixed arms. Floors away, elderly kin, smiling at masked companions, the last beat a long second away. In the streets, hurt people of all sorts march with purpose, their determined yell on their cemented tongues. Minutes away, grateful people grin with delight, papers fluttering, suspended with second chances.
I feel really fortunate to have had him in my class. Definitely, he's a student who I can tell loves language, loves reading, loves writing, and likes learning about the possibilities that language can bring us. So he's really an ideal English student.
I feel like a lot more of like an observer in the world a lot of the time. Like, you know, like there's like so many things happening all around me, and like can't really do anything about it, can't really change it one way or another. So just kind of feel like I'm just watching it all unfold.
I like that it wasn't saccharine, it wasn't trite, it was honest. And it really tried to reflect the world that we're in right now.
That moment when like I got a phone call from the organization saying, yeah, you won the competition. Like, but I was ecstatic. I was like, for me, writing is expressing like how I'm feeling to like myself, like laying it out there, breaking it down so that I can understand more, and also like sharing it with other people to see if they like, you know, think the same way. Like it's really what it's all about in the end, just sharing what you're feeling, sharing your experiences, and seeing if anyone else like feels or experiences the same thing. I'd like to capture elated, like just a big grin on my face, just proud of what I managed to do. Like the notepad, the idea of some ideas finally paid off.
I've started finding kind of what I'm feeling and discover my internal self. I wrote about kind of like a moment in time where you're kind of questioning yourself and figuring out all the things that come with finding your true self. You are valid no matter what. Your rainbow is beautiful. Don't cut it because they said you are wrong. You are valid and accepted. No matter what, get back up and pick up your crown because no one can ever take it away.
It's a powerful thing when a student realizes that their voice can be a teacher's voice, you know, that they have the option to teach others from their wealth of experience and from their lived experience, and that they'll be taken seriously.
Sometimes if I can't put the thoughts into words, I usually draw it out. I love skating. I feel really free when I'm skating, and it kind of feels like I'm at home. I would describe myself as someone who likes to help people and give people hope that there is good in the world, even though there is a lot of bad.
For the poet, being able to be acknowledged and validated by their peers, by their adults, by their community is very empowering. And there is a great joy, I think, in speaking for those who can't speak, and knowing that people are reading the work, that people are sharing the work and celebrating it. I think that improves the conversation in the community.
I want the audience to take away that that people go through a lot just to be themselves, and if you have someone in your life that is struggling with that, just know that it will take time and to be supportive of them. If I were to take a picture of myself, I would take it with my friends because they have been the most supportive friends I've ever had, and they've been with me through everything and still been with me.
For me, she's like, even though she's my older sister, but I take her as my friend, a close friend, I would say best friend.
I will take always her side because I know who she is.
She's encouraged me to like be my best self, I would say. So basically, it's called Our Great Superhero, and the meaning of it is like a doctor is trying to hold a globe in his shoulder, which represents that he is trying to save the world surrounding viruses.
I just want to show the world how doctors working so really hard. We should be grateful for them.
Samina and Fariha are both very self-directed and independent students. I know they are both English language learners. And so, when you're studying science, you're learning the language of science, but these two students are also, tackling the task of learning the English language.
I wanted to become a military soldier, but my family wanted me to become a doctor too. So I decided to become a the medical soldier.
I want to be a doctor. My grandfather and my younger brother, he was only 3 years, and yeah, he has 3 heart holes here. So that's why I said I want to be a cardiologist.
It's kind of like I'm interested in art and it's easy to make for me. So I'm doing since childhood. I never learned from anyone. I'm a self-taught person.
For me, arts play a major role. For example, is help us to describe ourselves, our emotions, and our mental health as well. When we have this feeling inside of us and then we are expressing it to the painting, it's more productive and efficient way to express ourselves.
When I hear the news that we have won the match, both like jumping around and so excited and screaming. This was so amazing that the first time that I show my art to world and tell them what I want to show them.
I would say it's a great feelings, it's also encourages my confidence, encourage myself to perform better for next time, and it's encouraged me to keep going, it's meaning a lot to me. I would say as a team, we did it together, and it's a great moment that we spend it together, and creative sculptures that really meaningful towards us.
My poem is called Les Vignes, and it's about how when we neglect to support the communities within our society, we can really kind of see society at its downfall. I'm using the metaphor of a trellis of vines. The vines represent society, and when we kind of neglect to support certain communities, these communities form pockets, these holes in the network, the trellis of society, and that's where we see the challenges come forth. Les as-tu vus s'affaiblir, les soupirs du vent passant, apportant les agonies d'une société souffrante? À ce moment-ci, quand la peur se répand aussi vite que les maladies, les infectés et les décès embrouillés sur le plancher des hôpitaux bondés, vois-tu l'affaissement des vignes?
The fact that she won 2 years in a row was just absolutely astonishing. It was equally complex, and her use of French language, of the language itself, is so beautiful.
Poetry it's kind of scary. You have to put yourself on the page to a certain extent to really, write something meaningful. Even in music, I think just performing in general, it can be very scary. Each note matters and it's all in the moment. But I think it's important just to throw yourself into those challenging environments, because you only grow from those.
She is so talented in all areas. She's one of the students that a teacher is lucky to meet once in a lifetime, or once in a career student.
I hope to be studying engineering. I want to be able to help people through design, through creativity, and engineering will help me do that. We need art to keep us all sane. It's really important to look to art to kind of give us some meaning of truth. It really helps you enjoy and appreciate the beauties of life and see things in a different perspective. When I think about this moment in time, I would try and capture people around me who've supported me. To get through this pandemic, we really had to support each other, whether that comes from family or from friends. It's really together that we can accomplish great things.
I love this video. When we do this every year for our annual meeting, it is a packed house. I'm going off script, but I just want the students to know how incredible they are and how inspiring they are. And if you were with us at the annual meeting and we were presenting this to you, there'd be over 600, 700 people there, and there would be thunderous applause right now, and everybody would be cheering, and you'd be walking up to the front, and it would just be so, so exciting. So I hope you feel that. We can't quite replicate it, but I hope you really feel that we really appreciate that you've participated, and we want to celebrate the fact that you are the provincial winners. Where was I here? Sorry. Before we present the actual awards, because that's what would happen next if we were in person, is you would each come up and receive your award individually. We do pictures and all of those fun things. I want to take a moment to thank the members of the Recognition and Promotion Subcommittee of the OSSTF FEESO Communications Political Action Committee for their role in judging and organizing the Student Achievement Awards. I also want to point out that to be here today, the award winners had to navigate a 4-step judging process. They were first selected as winners within their schools. Then they had to compete successfully at both the district and regional levels against many submissions before their work could be considered by the provincial judges. So now I will speak individually about the members, the winners. First, I would like to present the award for Prose and Poetry Intermediate Academic 9 to 10 to Alden Desi of Kenner Collegiate Vocational Institute in Peterborough for their incredibly touching story, Strands of Memories. This story poignantly compares strands of hair to the memories that each client in the hair salon holds in their hearts. With every snip, a wretched memory is shed or a new memory is grown, leaving each client with a new beginning. Alden, congratulations on this incredible achievement.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next, this year's winner in the Prose and Poetry Division Intermediate 9 to 10 applied category is James Gardner of Pelee Island High School on Pelee Island. That was pretty cool to see in the video about the plane and how small the school is, just as an aside. James wins for his thoughtful essay entitled Photograph. James shared through his writing that a photograph captures a moment in time for all eternity, every time a picture is taken. Like a song, a photograph can evoke all the sounds, smells, and feelings that were present at that precise moment that the photograph was captured. Even after the moment has passed, the photograph will always be available to be experienced again, to relive that important moment in time. Unfortunately, James was unable to attend this evening, but we'll make sure he gets a copy of the video, and we congratulate him on this exceptional achievement. Michael James McDonald, a student at Richmond Green Secondary School in Richmond Hill, is the winner of the Poetry Prose category, Senior University 11-12, for his poem, Breathe In. Michael tells us that the world is a place of contradictions. We are all living through the paradoxes of life, and he helps us to learn to embrace whatever the world throws at us and just breathe. Michael, congratulations on this exceptional achievement. This year's winner for grades 11-12 Poetry Prose College Workplace category is Zainab Yassir of Bramley Secondary School in Brampton. In the dark closet, Zainab explores their journey as a Muslim with body dysphoria, raised in a conservative Muslim home, struggling with self-esteem and an eating disorder. They realize the need to reach out and help others who might also be struggling and feeling alone. Zainab's vision is to create an organization to help people who feel like outcasts for whatever reason, and let them know that they belong and that they are safe and valued. Zainab, congratulations on this amazing work. Daria Elis in the Poetry and Prose category, 9 to 10. The winner, Daria, with her poem, Inevitabilité. Daria, in her thoughtful piece, describes 5 feelings that each of us face at some time in our lives, namely joy, pain, fear, serenity, and hope. Each of those feelings is described in a powerful and thoughtful manner, evoking deep emotions due to a visual language and an outstanding structure. It also provides a unique interpretation of this year's theme. Daria, congratulations on this incredible achievement. Nice to see you. Lauren Altamar from Northern Secondary School in Toronto wins the French Poetry and Prose grades 11-12 category with her work entitled Les Vignes. I also want to share, as was mentioned in the video, that Lauren is a two-time provincial winner of the Student Achievement Awards. That's an amazing accomplishment. This is an exquisite poem filled with anthropomorphism and uses elegant imagery of vines to approach the important topic of societal experiences over the past year. The poem approaches the theme in a direct yet innovative way, eliciting an emotional response from the reader. This is a touching and complex piece that has a song-like rhythm and reoccurring chorus that brings the reader back to the title and image chosen by the author. Lauren, congratulations on this incredible achievement. I know you can all feel the applause from all of the participants and the viewers watching, so just take it all in, please. Billy Brooks from Lambton Central Collegiate Vocational Institute wins the Poetry and Prose non-credit category with his work entitled The Social Distancing Poem. Billy describes his COVID moment in time by reflecting on the positives and speaks to the initial uncertainty that most of us felt at the start of the pandemic. His focus is on parts of the pandemic that people discovered when they had to stay at home. He talks about climbing trees and spending time with family and helping others by wearing a mask and being kind. This refreshing piece of poetry fills us with hope and positivity. And I can't wait to read the novel, 24 chapters or more. Sign me up for a copy, please. Billy, congratulations on this exceptional achievement. Okay, the visual art intermediate grades 9-10 winner is Emily Newen of Northern Collegiate and Vocational School in Sarnia, whose piece Remotely illustrates the difficulty that many students had navigating remote learning. While necessary at the time, Emily shows us that remote learning during the pandemic has been incredibly difficult for students. Emily describes this period as dull and grueling for students. And we can see this depicted in their painting. The never-ending and distorted clocks illustrate the seemingly endless hours students experienced while working on their online studies. The connectivity issues, the frustrations, as well as the online exhaustion are real and are well illustrated in this interesting piece. Emily, thank you for your work and congratulations. Caitlin Squires of O'Neill Collegiate Vocational Institute in Oshawa claimed the Visual Arts Senior Grades 11-12 prize for her watercolor and pen art piece called Prism. At first glance, the central character is mesmerizing, painted with haunting orange eyes. We then notice that the character is anchored in a prism, which shows us the pre-pandemic past, the present, and the possible brighter future. I love how these pieces are so optimistic this year. I really appreciate. Thank you all. This piece draws viewers in and points to a more hopeful tomorrow. Caitlin, congratulations on this incredible achievement. Okay, we've got a duo here, Samina and Friha Kabir of Bramley Secondary School in Brampton claimed the Visual Arts non-credit prize for their sculpture called Our Great Superheroes. There is considerable detail in this sculpture, constructed using paper mache, clay, and watercolor paint. The artists show the healthcare worker as the seraph of humanity, tirelessly holding up the world and guarding it from the COVID-19 virus. They remind us that doctors and other healthcare providers are committed to service despite heavy workload, personal risk, and societal burden. This sculpture is the perfect depiction of the respect that all healthcare workers so richly deserve. Samina, Friha, and congratulations to you both on this exceptional achievement. And finally, the winner of the Digital Arts grades 9 to 12 category is Kelvin Cow of Sir Frederick Banting Secondary School in London for his incredible short film, Apathy Apocalypse. The film features the psychology of climate inaction and works to educate us on how to win the struggle against climate deniability. The film provides viewers an interesting perspective on combating climate change while highlighting why society must act against climate change now. The editing of the film is exceptional and the dialogue is very powerful. Calvin, congratulations on this exceptional achievement. So again, I'll just say there would be so much applause and people would be coming up to shake your hands. And I know that you have very bright futures ahead of you. So I look forward to hearing more from you, whether some of you become repeat winners or triple winners in the future or wherever we see you in the coming years. I want to end our ceremony by thanking all of the student award winners. I want to remind everyone that these awards celebrate something more than the writing, the artwork, the videos, and the music that our winners have created. Our Student Achievement Awards celebrate all the potential that is present when OSSTF FEESO members work with such remarkable students. With that in mind, I want to acknowledge our OSSTF FEESO members who supported the 11 provincial winners. Heartfelt thanks to all the teachers and education workers who encourage students to apply. Thank you as well to our local leaders who help promote the Student Achievement Awards. Your efforts make an enormous difference for students. I love hearing in the video when you talk about your reaction when you got that phone call. That concludes our award presentation. Thank you to our students for their exceptional work, to the parents for their support, to your families for the ongoing support, and to all of you for joining us today. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you all for coming.